Hoops fans, welcome to Tips and Streams. On this thrilling second day of the Eastern Conference play-in tournament, we're gearing up for a doubleheader. Kicking things off, the Philadelphia 76ers will welcome the Miami Heat to their home court. Later, the stage is set for the Chicago Bulls to host the Atlanta Hawks. Now, let's dive into our breakdown of today's exciting matchups. The first prediction for today is for the game between the Miami Heat and Philadelphia 76ers. Tonight's Eastern Conference play-in tournament at the Wells Fargo Center is set to be a riveting encounter as the 7th seed Philadelphia 76ers take on the 8th seed Miami Heat. This pivotal game not only determines who each team faces next, but also primes the stage for unexpected twists in the playoff journey. Under the leadership of Joel Embiid, the 76ers have shown remarkable tenacity, navigating through Embiid's absence for part of the season. They wrapped up their campaign with a 47-35 record, fueled by a fiery streak of 8 consecutive wins to end the regular season. Embiid's influence is undeniable. The team's vigor dips noticeably without him on the floor. Philadelphia boasts an average of 114.6 points per game, shooting at 46.4% from the field, with their three-point completion rate at 36.3%. On defense, they're solid, allowing 111.5 points per game, and have shown proficiency in curtailing opponents' three-point success to 35.4%. Conversely, the Miami Heat, finishing their season at 46-36, have displayed a blend of challenges and triumphs. Known for stepping up their game during the playoffs, they've battled through injuries this season. They manage 110.1 points per game on 46.5% shooting, with their three-point shooting notching up to 37%. Their defensive numbers are commendable, particularly in limiting their opponents to just 108.4 points per game and fortifying their three-point line defense. Reviewing previous encounters in Philadelphia, the Heat have proven themselves as formidable contenders, often overcoming odds even in defeats. The stats suggest a close match, especially with Miami seemingly slipping into their playoff groove ahead of schedule. Injury updates could critically influence tonight's outcome. Embiid may not be at peak performance, still rebounding from a knee issue. At the same time, Miami could see last-minute decisions on Terry Rozier and Duncan Robinson, whose return would significantly strengthen the team. Both squads have highlighted their strengths and weaknesses recently. Philadelphia's knack for securing rebounds and capitalizing on free throws could be decisive in a tight game. Miami will likely zero in on aggressive defense and pounce on any lapses in the 76ers' sometimes erratic offense. The betting scenario is complex, with Philadelphia favored by a 5.5-point spread and a total points line set at 208. Miami's defensive rigor and their knack for elevating their game in critical moments make them likely to beat the spread. Given both teams' defensive capabilities and potential offensive disruptions due to key players' injuries, the total score might fall short of the expected mark, hinting at a lower-scoring game. Ultimately, the spotlight will be on the clash between Embiid and Adebayo. Since becoming an MVP contender, Embiid has been challenged by Miami's Bam Adebayo, who has effectively kept him below his usual scoring and rebounding rates in their matchups. While the 76ers might secure a home victory with their recent form and the home court advantage, the wiser wager would be on the Miami Heat to cover the 5.5-point spread. Their prowess under playoff pressure and the defensive matchups, especially those between Adebayo and Embiid, lean slightly in Miami's favor, potentially leading them to not only cover the spread but also pull off an upset win. Today's second and last prediction is for the game between Atlanta Hawks and Chicago Bulls. Tonight's play-in tournament showdown brings an electrifying clash as the Atlanta Hawks take flight to the Windy City to face off against the Chicago Bulls at the United Center. This isn't just any game, it's a do-or-die battle for playoff survival, with the winner advancing to take on the loser of the Heat, 76ers matchup. Both squads are expected to hit the hardwood with full force. The Hawks glide into this game a bit battered, having taken some tough L's recently, most notably a stinging defeat to the Pacers. Despite their recent stumbles, Atlanta still packs a serious offensive punch, sitting 5th in the league by dropping an average of 118.3 points per game, with Trae Young fresh off the injury list and DeJounte Murray lighting it up. This backcourt is primed to dictate the pace of the game. Yet, their defensive woes could haunt them tonight, as they're ranked 28th in points allowed. On the flip side, the Bulls are coming off a close shave with the Knicks, but have shown grit throughout the season. Anchored by the veteran DeMar DeRozan, With solid support from Nikola Vucevic and Kobe White, Chicago boasts a balanced offense that could tear through Atlanta's shaky defense. Shooting a solid 47% from the field, their home court form has been notably tougher defensively. Digging into the season's matchups, the Bulls hold the upper hand with 2 wins out of 3 games against the Hawks. However, Atlanta's sharp shooting from downtown, 6th best in the league, stands as a major threat to Chicago's soft perimeter defense. The trends paint an intriguing picture. The Bulls have held steadier against the spread, while the Hawks have floundered on the road. Yet Atlanta's recent history in the play-in tournament and their playoff experience could flip the script. Injury updates are crucial tonight, with both teams missing key pieces. The Bulls might deeply feel the absence of Zach LaVine, while the Hawks are without Onyeka Okongwu and Jalen Johnson. Given the stats, current form, and head-to-head dynamics, we're gearing up for a tightly contested clash. Chicago's home court and slightly better defensive stats might usually tilt the odds in their favor. However, the Hawks' urgency and explosive guard play could spark an upset. Expect Atlanta to lean heavily on their three-point game and potentially outgun the Bulls in what promises to be a high-scoring affair. Despite the Bulls being favored at home and having dominated recent matchups against the Hawks, the latter's record as the NBA's worst cover team at 35.3% doesn't tell the whole story. The Bulls' inconsistency has made them a hard read this season. Just when they seem to turn a corner, they hit another skid. Earlier this month, the Hawks clinched a road win against the Bulls by 12 points as underdogs, and with Trae Young back in action, Chicago could be in for a tricky night. While the Bulls defend decently across the board, their offensive output is below par. With the Hawks' snipers potentially heating up from deep, where Chicago ranks near the bottom in defense, the Bulls might not have enough firepower to keep up, especially if Young, Murray, and Bogdanovic catch fire. Looking at the betting lines, with the Bulls favored by a 3-point spread and the total set at 221.5, the savvy bet might be on Atlanta to cover in what's expected to be a shootout. Thus, the lean is towards the Hawks not just covering but possibly pulling off the upset. I'm putting my money on the Atlanta Hawks to beat the spread and eyeing the total to exceed the line set.